Look, I know you're probably sitting there thinking the United States rent is untouchable. Miami Beach landlords are asking for deposits that feel like ransom. Washington's apartments are priced higher than entire houses in the Midwest. It's insane. But here's the truth nobody's saying out loud. The US rental market is about to hit a wall. And not some gentle slowdown. I'm talking about specific cities where rents could collapse 20 to 30% by 2026. You've been crushed by these prices, haven't you? Working non-stop just to hand half your paycheck to a landlord who bought their place for pennies compared to what you're paying every single year. I get it. I see that frustration every time you scroll through listings where a studio is priced like a luxury penthouse. But here's the flip. The same forces that built this nightmare are about to snap back. And listen, I'm not just here to spew ridiculous advice. My goal is simple: to help everyday people like you and me not get screwed during this downturn. To give families and renters the tools to keep more of their hard-earned money for their kids, their loved ones, and the American dream alive. Do not line the pockets of some faceless investment fund managing 5,000 apartments. I'm here for you, and that's not BS. So, pay attention, because cheaper rent isn't the only thing coming. We're talking insurance companies bailing entire complexes sitting empty, and landlords who push too far, finally losing control. I want anyone who stumbles across this silly little YouTube video to leave not just knowing the 10 US cities where real estate is about to get brutally dropped, but with a clear sense of what they can actually do about it. Whether you rent, own, or still live at home, this matters because at the end of the day, we're all human, and I believe we look out for each other. And so, if you want to stay one step ahead of this crash and maybe finally land a place that doesn't swallow your whole paycheck, hit that like button. It means the world to me. Now let's get into it. Number 10. Austin, Texas. Oh, Austin. Remember when everyone and their crypto millionaire cousin was moving here? Keep Austin weird became Keep Austin unaffordable real quick. The median home price shot up to $650,000. That's not a typo. $650,000 for a house in Texas, a state with property taxes that'll make your eyes bleed. Here's what's happening. Tesla just announced another round of layoffs. 14,000 jobs gone. Oracle moved their headquarters here, then promptly started letting people work remote again. Dell, Apple, Google, they're all restructuring, which is corporate speak for we hired too many people during COVID and now we're panicking. The tech exodus has begun and Austin is ground zero. But wait, it gets better. Property taxes just hit 2.3% average. So that $650,000 house, you're paying $15,000 a year just to keep it. That's $1,250 a month on top of your mortgage. Inventory has doubled in the last 6 months. Days on market went from 7 to 47. And here's the kicker. Builders are still constructing like it's 2021. There are 58,000 new units coming online in the next year. 58,000. In a market where buyers have evaporated faster than water in the Texas heat. Honestly speaking, Austin's still a great city, amazing food scene, vibrant culture, and hey, no state income tax. But when houses are sitting for 2 months with multiple price cuts and sellers are offering to pay your closing costs and buy down your rate, that's not a market correction. That's a market in freefall. Comment below if you think Austin's tech scene can recover, or if this is just the beginning of the decline, because I've got news for you. It's about to get worse. And if you think Austin's bad, Portland shows what happens when a city collapses under its own vibe. Number 9. Portland, Oregon. Portland, where young people go to retire, and the dream of the 90s went to die. This city has become the poster child for urban decay. And the housing market is starting to reflect that reality. Current median price, $525,000. But here's the thing nobody wants to talk about. Major employers are fleeing faster than residents from a street takeover. Nike, Portland's biggest employer, just announced they're moving operations to Tennessee. Intel's cutting 15,000 jobs from their Hillsborough facility. And downtown, ghost town, commercial vacancy rates hit 32%. That's 1 in 3 buildings sitting empty. You know what happens when commercial real estate collapses? It drags residential down with it like an anchor. The mayor literally admitted they've lost control of parts of the city. And insurance companies, they're either pulling out completely or charging premiums that'll make your mortgage look reasonable. State Farm won't even write new policies in certain zip codes. But here's what's really going to tank this market: the tax situation. Oregon has a 9.9% state income tax. Property taxes average 1.5%. And they just passed a new capital gains tax that's making anyone with money sprint for the border. You can literally drive 20 minutes north to Vancouver, Washington, and save $50,000 a year in taxes. Guess what people are doing? I genuinely feel for families who bought here thinking Portland would bounce back. The ones who believed in the city's potential and are now watching their equity disappear. The market's already showing cracks. Price reductions on 43% of listings. Average days on market up to 52. Subscribe right now if you want to stay ahead of these market crashes because Portland's collapse is just getting started. But Portland's mess is nothing compared to San Francisco, the poster child for a full-blown doom loop. Number 8. San Francisco, California. You ready for this? San Francisco's median home price is still $144 million. For that money, you could buy a mansion in 90% of America. In San Francisco, you get a 900-feet condo with a view of someone shooting up in the alley. And the party's about to end. San Francisco is under real stress. The city's office vacancy rate is now about 34.8% citywide, meaning roughly 1 in 3 square feet of office space sits empty. Mayor Daniel Lurie has proposed a $15.9 billion budget that closes an $800 million 2-year deficit, which includes cutting about 1,400 city positions, mostly already vacant. Meanwhile, major tech firms like Meta, Google, and others have announced thousands of layoffs in California, including in the Bay Area. For example, in Q1 2025 alone, about 17,874 tech jobs were cut statewide, with thousands of those in Silicon Valley and San Francisco. Here's a fun fact. U-Haul rentals from San Francisco to literally anywhere else cost 4 times more than rentals coming in. Supply and demand, baby. Nobody wants in, everybody wants out. The population dropped by 65,000 people in 2 years. These aren't just numbers, these are families, young professionals, the people who actually buy houses. But wait, there's more. Insurance companies are straight up refusing to cover properties. State Farm, Allstate, Farmers, they've all stopped writing new policies. If you can't get insurance, you can't get a mortgage. If you can't get a mortgage, you can't sell your house. It's a death spiral, and it's accelerating. Yeah, San Francisco will always have tech money. But when a software engineer making $300,000 can work remote from Austin, or better yet, Miami with no state tax, why would they pay $1.3 million for a place where their car gets broken into weekly? Comment what you think San Francisco's bottom will be. I'm betting we see a 40% drop within 18 months. From overpriced condos in the Bay to potato country dreams gone sour, welcome to Boise. Number 7. Boise, Idaho. Boise, sweet, innocent Boise. The city that thought it could become the next Austin without any of the infrastructure, jobs, or, well, anything really. Median home price went from $285,000 to $580,000 in 3 years. Now, reality's knocking, and it's not here to play. Micron Technology, literally Boise's only major tech employer, just announced they're cutting over 5,000 jobs. That's 15% of their workforce in a city of 240,000 people. Do the math. The ripple effects are already showing. Inventory is up 13% year over year. That's not growth. That's a flood. Here's what happened. Every remote worker with a California salary thought they'd found paradise. Low taxes, outdoor lifestyle, conservative politics, if that's your thing. But then companies started calling people back to the office. Suddenly, that Boise dream house became an anchor when your job is in Seattle. The builders went absolutely insane here. There are currently 14,000 units under construction in a city that was adding 5,000 people a year, but plot twist, the population growth just went negative. First time since the 1980s. The Californians are going home and they're not being replaced. I actually like Boise. Great place to raise a family. Amazing outdoor access, and people are genuinely nice. But when mortgage rates hit 8% and the only buyers were California refugees who've now dried up, that's a recipe for disaster. The median price has already dropped $40,000 in 6 months. This is just the appetizer. And if Boise is losing people, Phoenix is losing something even bigger. Water. Number 6. Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, where the American dream goes to die of heat stroke. It hit 118 degrees last summer. 118. Your shoes literally melt on the pavement. And somehow, houses here still cost $450,000. But not for long. The water situation alone should terrify you. Lake Mead's at 27% capacity. The Colorado River is drying up. The state just announced water restrictions that'll limit new construction. You know what happens when you can't build new houses in a growth-dependent market? The existing houses should go up, right? Wrong. Because nobody wants to live in a desert that's running out of water. Taiwan Semiconductor, the company Arizona bet its entire economic future on, just delayed their facility by 2 years. Intel's reconsidering their expansion and the existing employers. State Farms is laying off 2,000. Wells Fargo is cutting 1,500. American Express is gone. These aren't small businesses. These are the companies that keep this desert mirage afloat. But here's the real killer: insurance. Home insurance in Phoenix has increased 70% in recent years. That's if you can get it. After the last wildfire season, good luck finding coverage for anything near the edges of town. And those beautiful desert views everyone paid premiums for are now considered wildfire zones. Phoenix homes are sitting and sitting and sitting. Nearly half the listings, 47%, have been rotting on the market for over 60 days without a single offer. That's not a healthy market. That's a graveyard. The median home now takes about 58 days to sell, compared to just 50 nationwide. When buyers vanish, houses don't move. They collect dust. They're throwing everything at buyers who simply don't exist. Like this video right now if you think Phoenix is overvalued because what's coming next will shock you. But the desert's heat has nothing on Miami. Storm insurance, flooding, and a bubble about to pop. Number 5. Miami, Florida. Miami, where crypto bros go to avoid taxes, and hurricane insurance is more expensive than your mortgage. This market is about to get hit by a Category 5 financial hurricane, and nobody's boarding up the windows. Let's start with the obvious: climate change. Whether you believe in it or not, insurance companies do care about the climate. The average homeowner's insurance in Miami just hit $11,000 a year. $11,000. That's nearly $1,000 a month just for insurance. If you can get it, 7 insurance companies left Florida last year. 7. But that's not even the biggest problem. The condo situation is a ticking time bomb. After the Surfside collapse, every building over 30 years old needs a structural inspection. You know what they're finding? Decades of deferred maintenance, special assessments of $100,000, $200,000 per unit. Imagine buying a condo for $500,000, then getting hit with a $150,000 bill. That's happening right now. Foreign buyers have all but vanished. According to the Miami Association of Realtors, they made up just 10% of sales between August 2023 and July 2024, the lowest since 2015, and a brutal drop from nearly 50% back in 2018. The rental market's already cracking. Vacancy rates doubled in 6 months. Rents are down 15%. And here's the scary part: Miami has 25,000 units under construction. Most are luxury condos that were pre-sold to investors who are now trying to flip their contracts. Good luck with that. When nobody can get insurance, I know Miami's appeal: the weather, the culture, the energy. But when you factor in insurance, HOA fees, special assessments, and the constant threat of the next big hurricane, the math stops working. Comment below if you think Miami can survive this, or if we're about to see the 2008 South Beach edition. Florida's gamble is risky, but in Vegas, the whole housing market is a losing hand. Number 4. Las Vegas, Nevada. Vegas, baby, where you can lose your money at the casino and in real estate. Double the fun, double the pain. This market's about to crap out harder than a tourist with a maxed-out credit card at the blackjack table. The California exodus that fueled Vegas's growth is over. California's population decline has slowed, and the people still leaving aren't going to Vegas anymore. They're going to Texas, Tennessee, Florida, places with actual water. Because yeah, Vegas has the same water problem as Phoenix, but with more neon and worse schools. The employment situation is brutal. Sure, unemployment's only 5.5%, but look closer. These are service jobs: bartenders, dealers, hotel staff. The average income is $58,000. The median home price is $440,000. That math doesn't work unless you're winning big at the tables, and the house always wins. Here's what's really going to crush this market: the short-term rental collapse. Vegas had 15,000 Airbnbs. The city just passed regulations limiting them, and occupancy rates have dropped 40%. All those investors who bought houses to rent to bachelor parties are panic selling, adding massive inventory to an already struggling market. The builders here lost their minds. There are 20,000 units under construction in a city that's not growing. The population is still growing, but slowly, roughly 0.7% a year within city limits, far below the boom years when growth topped 2%. But the houses keep coming. The city has about 4,600 new apartments delivered in the past year, and another 2,700 multifamily units currently under construction, plus a steady flow of single-family permits. It's like watching someone double down on 16 against a dealer's 10. You know it's going to end badly. The desperation is already showing. Builders are offering 2-to-1 buy-downs, free upgrades, and paying closing costs. Real estate agents are calling buyers, offering $10,000 personal credits. When agents are paying you to buy, the market's in trouble. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see this crash coming, because Vegas is about to learn that the house doesn't always win. And if Vegas is bleeding cash, Seattle's bleeding jobs. Tech's darling is crashing hard. Number 3. Seattle, Washington. Seattle, home of grunge, coffee, and tech workers about to lose their shirts in real estate. Amazon just ordered everyone back to the office 5 days a week. You know what that means? All those remote workers who moved to Tacoma, Everett, or Bellingham thinking they'd beaten the system, they're screwed. But it's not just Amazon. Microsoft laid off 11,000. Boeing's moving production to South Carolina. And the startup scene is dead. Venture capital funding dropped 67% year over year. All those paper millionaires waiting for their IPO, they're now regular broke people with expensive mortgages. The numbers are staggering. The median home price is still $850,000. Here's the kicker: commercial real estate. Downtown Seattle is 32% vacant, 40%. Amazon's trying to sublease 1.5 million square feet. When commercial crashes, residential follows. It's economic gravity. And Seattle's about to learn what falling feels like. The social situation isn't helping. Crime's up. Homelessness is visible everywhere. And the city council seems more interested in virtue signaling than fixing problems. People are leaving not just for economic reasons, but for quality of life. The Seattle freeze is becoming the Seattle exodus. I understand if you bought here thinking tech would always be king. The view of Mount Rainier, the food scene, the culture. Seattle's got a lot going for it. But when your biggest employer is forcing people back to the office while simultaneously laying them off, that's not a market correction. That's a market catastrophe. But it's not just tech. Charlotte shows what happens when Wall Street's southern capital starts to crack. Number 2, Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, the banking capital of the South. For decades, this city rode the coattails of Bank of America and Wells Fargo, building glass towers and entire neighborhoods around bankers' paychecks. But now the shine's coming off of the median home price, $429,945. Looks calm, right? Like nothing to worry about. But dig deeper. There are 30,647 units under construction in the Charlotte metro as of late 2024. In Q1 2025 alone, developers delivered 4,700 apartments, more than triple the city's historic average. That's not steady growth. That's builders losing their minds. And here's the problem: demand can't keep up. Over the past year, Charlotte absorbed 13,100 new units, but 15,527 were delivered. Occupancy has slipped to 93%. That's a 7% vacancy rate, up from 95 to 96% just a year earlier. Investors who thought the banker invasion would last forever are staring at empty units and bleeding cash. The real warning sign? Charlotte's apartment inventory exploded 7.8% year over year in early 2025, the fastest on record. When supply grows faster than population, prices don't just dip, they collapse. And in a city that staked everything on being Wall Street South, oversupply could turn the Queen City into the foreclosure capital of the Carolinas. Comment right now if you think Charlotte can reinvent itself, or if this is the beginning of the end for the Queen City. Because what's happening here is a masterclass in what happens when a city puts all its eggs in one basket, and that basket gets dropped. And finally, if you want to see all these problems rolled into one city, buckle up. It's Denver. Number 1, Denver, Colorado. Denver, the mile-high city, is staring down a mile-deep housing correction. This isn't hype. The warning signs are everywhere, and they're piling up fast. Population is slipping. Denver's official headcount has fallen to about 715,891, down slightly from 2020, the first sustained decline in decades. And migration, the lifeblood of this boom, has dried up. Net migration into the Denver metro has collapsed by nearly 70% since 2015. The so-called Colorado Gold Rush is over. Now look at prices. New homes in Denver are listing around $550,000, not far from the city's overall median. Sounds manageable until you factor in income. Median household income here sits near $75,000, which by traditional affordability ratios supports a home price of about $225,000. That's not just overvalued. That's a bubble stretched 170% above what locals can really afford. And here's the dagger. Supply is swelling while demand evaporates. Builders are still dropping new inventory into a market that's shrinking, leaving buyers with more leverage every single month. When population declines and listings rise together, the landing isn't soft. It's brutal. Denver's outdoors, its beer culture, its forever home lifestyle, they're all real. But numbers don't lie. With affordability shattered, migration collapsing, and households already over-leveraged, the mile-high city looks set for a fall that could strip 40% off home values before the dust clears. Look, I know this isn't easy to hear. If you own in Denver or in any of the cities we've covered, you're probably feeling anxious right now. These are people's homes, people's dreams, and it's never just about numbers on a chart. It's about families, futures, and stability. That's why I do this, to make sure regular people like you and me aren't blindsided when the headlines finally catch up. Knowledge is power. And if you understand what's coming, you can protect yourself and maybe even turn this downturn into an opportunity. So, if this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture, hit that like button. It lets me know I'm on the right track. Subscribe for more real estate reality checks and drop a comment with your city if you think it belongs on this list. The crash is coming, but now you know where it's hitting first. And if you're ready to go deeper, click another box on your screen to watch the next video where I break down the housing economy in real time.